Well, greetings, guys. Welcome to another Train Sim World 4 video. Today, we're going to be taking a peek at the Long Island Railroad. You may be thinking, what the hell? Haven't we done that like 10 times? 9 of those times in Train Sim World and then 1 of those times in Train Sim Classic? Well, you'd be correct. We have done that. But now, Dovetail Games have decided to resell the Long Island Railroad in its entirety again at full price, $39.99. So we'll just go over a bit of the history and what this is supposed to cover in this new iteration that you are supposed to pay for if you would like to have any of the updates. Because guess what? None of these updates are going to apply to the Long Island Railroad that you may already own. So the Long Island Railroad initially released back in 2018. Yes, 6 years ago. My God, time flies. 2018 with the first Train Sim World game. Now it lacked quite a bit then and has been attempted to be updated or patched, if you will, numerous times over the years. Many of those big patches were fairly substantial and still did not tick all the boxes, sadly. Well, here we are again, guys. They are selling it again for full price, minus a 10% discount for previous owners. So I pre-ordered it, got that 10% discount along with a pre-owner discount, which was another 10%, so it cost me about 30 bucks instead of 40. Now, if you don't get this with the pre-order, which is soon to end, or you haven't owned this before, it's just going to be 40 bucks, but you wouldn't know otherwise because you didn't have the initial Long Island Railroad, and Dovetail Games kind of wants that from you. They want you to think it's an all-new thing, because my thoughts, this is going to end up in the next Train Sim World iteration. So Train Sim World 5, which you damn well know is coming, I bet is going to include this. This is going to be in the trio bundle of whatever they add. That would be my guess. We shall see. Time will tell, though. But it's a bit pathetic. 40 bucks, especially if you've previously owned this. You know, I'm expected to pay, although I already own it. You know, there are several arguments there with, well, you could buy a car from 2018 and then they released the same car in 2019. That's a bit different. But, you know, some people have their excuses because Dovetail Games have quite a few white knights and simps. As sad as it is, they do exist. So this version does include a few extra miles of the Long Beach branch along with the M9 EMU, which is what we are currently in. This train's heading to Atlantic Terminal, if I'm not mistaken. And rebuilt and re-scripted signaling. So that in itself, the new signaling, is what I am most concerned and looking forward to with this. Now, should it have been added for free to the existing Long Island Railroad? Abso-freaking-lutely. But no, we had to pay to get that. Now, I know the person that took care of the signaling and all that is pretty damn good at what they do, because they've done that to quite a few routes. At least one other route that I can think of, I think Boston Providence from Train Sim World 3, Washington, Baltimore, and Train Sim Classic. And a few other things, a few other projects as well. So the guy knows what he's doing. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, because the signaling and the safety systems always kind of sucked on Long Island. And it's a busy railroad, guys. It's the busiest commuter road in America. Screaming Eagles and all that. America. So it's got the new miles of the Long Beach branch along with the M9. Now, it was rebuilt, re-scripted signaling. And I'm certainly not alone in thought that maybe the M9 should have been a simple add-on, sort of like the M3, right? And then the route update should have been free. It should have been a patch. They've done that to quite a few routes over the years. Either that, or just have the extension if you wanted to add part of the extension on. I don't know, you know, that would have been a lot of work for Dovetail, and we know how Dovetail is. They want to do as little work as possible and sell it for full price. It's Dovetail. Dovetail gonna dovetail. So it's just the constant, you know, packaging of regurgitated content as an all-new piece of content for full price. So this version here is going to include, I think, about 630 some odd services. Now that is if you have the M3 add-on. If you do not, then you're going to get a few less services. My thought is that they're going to add the M3 to the bundle, which this will probably be in Train Sim World 5. So you'll have the M7, M3, and the M9, of course. I bet you it'll happen. You're going to have, I think, 9 scenarios. The usual unimpressive and boring suite of the all-new Skybox, which again just should have been a free update and not a whole new game. The so-called scenario planner, and baby's first finger paint tool. The, you know, where you can paint stuff. That really sucks. Now, a problem also lies in the fact that the timetable itself is modern, or modern-ish, and the route is not. Now, that's like putting ketchup on a steak. And to me, that's just wrong. And insult to injury, apparently the MTA, who owns the Long Island Railroad and Metro North, wouldn't allow Dovetail Games to correctly model the cabs, such as the breaker panels behind where the driver engineer sits, the train crew. You cannot any longer disable ATC or safety systems. And they also removed the usage of being able to properly set up the braking system for the train. It's all been kind of simplified. Now, MTA did this, you know, with good reason, obviously. They don't want some little idiot, you know, playing this game and stealing a train and doing God knows what with it. But again, it is a bit ridiculous. And it was all for branding. It was all for being able to put the Long Island Railroad, or MTA, branding on these trains and stations and platforms and whatnot. So they've taken away where, you know, in Train Sim World, I feel like the sim part has always been kind of lacking anyway. They just took more of that away from you, which is ridiculous. Oh yeah, the correct door controls were removed and changed as well, guys. So this is all to get a branding. So atrocities like this aside, this did receive the new signaling, like I said, by someone who's good at it. So that is something to look forward to. The M9 sounds, so this thing that we are in, were brought forth from the community, once again, by Dovetail Games, because they say they could not get access to the trains. You know, always some kind of excuse or issue or something or other. And so they couldn't go record them themselves. So they got these sounds from someone in the community. And so that means you, as the consumer, are basically purchasing sounds recorded from an iPhone and very likely posted on YouTube or somewhere else. You're paying for that. Just keep that in mind. Now, Dovetail Games claims they corrected the poorly aligned platforms and pillars at stations, namely PIN. There are many atrocities at PIN as far as that. We'll see if those are still there. As well as adding correct PIS for the Long Island Railroad. 7th time's a charm, I guess. Now, that should be on train and station. Now, when I hopped onto this train, before I started blabbing, I looked at an M7 adjacent from us, and it did not have anything in the PIS. So I don't know if that's just M9 or what. But let's go ahead and dive in. We'll take a look around the route. We will run the M9, but I'm going to lay it out right now, guys. I'm not looking at this thing as a whole. Okay, it's a big route. It's got a lot of little branches, and I've done this, I feel like, 100 times. Literally kicking a dead horse that will not die. So I am only going to really look at the M9 and the Long Beach branch in itself, and a few other things that Dovetail Games noted that they added or fixed. So let's get into that, guys. Alright then, guys, well, welcome to Jamaica. I set it to October, and just to kind of see what the updated lighting looks like on the Long Island Railroad. There were a few mods that allowed you to do this, I want to say in the last year or so, but this is official. So the new lighting is obviously within this iteration of Long Island Railroad. But about the Long Island Railroad, for those that may not know, those that may not know what the hell I'm bitching about and moaning about and going on and on about this evil company selling us once again. So the Long Island Railroad is a railroad on Long Island in the state of New York. Operations began in about 1834. Now, the Long Island Railroad runs between Manhattan to the west to Long Island within the state of New York, which I mentioned here. We'll take a look at the map. I'll pop that open. And this is pretty much it as is. So this is Penn Station up here. This is Sunnyside Yard here. This is Atlantic Terminal down here. We are currently at Jamaica. And then this goes down to Hicksville, right? And then there's the Belmont, which is the famous horse race track dealio. And then I forget the name of this little branch line right there. But this is not all the Long Island Railroad is. It's a vast network. It's freaking huge. It's, Jesus, I want to say it's like 600 miles total, somewhere around there. So anyway, the new stuff that was added to this are these two bits of track. So these two lines here, which are actually multiple branches as they're known. A few other branches that branch off, because that's what branches do. Branch is going to branch. And then this one here that keeps on going that way. But the one we're worried about today is the Long Beach branch, which goes down to Long Beach, which is that. So all this is all brand new. And this is one long, it's almost like a giant barrier island, although the Long Beach area of Long Island is on a barrier island. So anyway, that aside, it is a commuter rail service. They do freight operations as well, primarily at night. The railroad currently has multiple units such as the M9, the M7, fading M3s, which the M9 is supposed to fully replace. They've got a couple of MP15 switchers as well, which kind of moves stuff around, does, you know, general work, maintenance equipment for the railroad, things like that. It's mostly at night, just like the New York Atlantic Road that runs up and down the line as well, because this is a busy railroad. It is the busiest commuter railroad in North America, not just America, North America as a whole. So it's been around for a very, very long time, and it practically runs 24/7, 365 all day, every day. Now, it is owned by the Metropolitan Transit Authority, or MTA for short, a state-owned commuter rail, subway, and bus operator. So they do everything in this area. Now, it's basically all offered within the greater New York City area anyway, and a bit of coastal Connecticut, which is a line just kind of to the right of the screen here currently. Now, so like I said, they got the M7s, the M9s, the M3s, electric multiple units. Now, they also have the DE30AC, which is a diesel electric locomotive and train set. What do they run with? C3 bi-level coaches, I think, and a cab car. Now, those primarily run on the Oyster Bay branch and a few other branches. That would have been badass to see that. I think a lot of people would much more prefer that, because it is a cool train set, and the Oyster Bay line is a fairly scenic one as well. So that would have been neat. But no, we basically got the M7 kind of reworked a bit. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's totally brand new. I can almost guarantee you they took some of the M7, probably most of it, and made it into the new M9. So that's the Long Island Railroad, and that's the rolling stock within the Long Island Railroad. So we'll go ahead and take a peek at the good. And it's funny I say that, because here's an open door beyond the platform, so that's a bit funny. It's the passenger information display or system. So this here has Penn Station. That's the new M9, of course. We will take a look at that in due time, don't worry. You've got it on the side as well, so it's obviously where it's going. Here's the M7. It's also got Penn Station. Okay, so the PIS does work on there. Not only that, but the platform as well. These actually look really damn good. They finally fixed these. Now, there are multiple variations of the PIS on the Long Island Railroad in varying places along the network. But it's cool. It shows like how full the trains are, where, you know, seats are available, and that little graphic we just saw. And then, of course, your timetable or your timing. You've got some different ones down here with the blue background, show you where you're currently at. Jamaica, Jamaica. Gotta do it. Trying to see if there's anything different. Yeah, that one's still Penn Station. Let's see if we can find another train. The sun is setting quickly. It is in October, although I wouldn't think it'd be this damn dark at 5 o'clock. So this one, says Atlantic Terminal in Brooklyn. So we'll take a peek as we jump around. Here we go. Here's what I'm looking for. So these are your different branches. They are color coordinated or color coded. Shows you where these trains are going. So that's Babylon branch, St. Albans, Lynbrook, Rockville. Shows you the distance, how long it's going to take you to get there. And this one here shows Long Beach, Babylon, Ronkonkoma, and various other lines and branches that you'll see. Those look epic. I love the way these look. This is the shit that I'm talking about, guys. Sorry to get excited and throw French words around, but this is the kind of stuff that we should have had from the very beginning. Okay? Or in a patch. Or an update, at least. Not this half-ass mailing it in stuff that Dovetail Games sadly tend to do. We are currently now in Penn Station, so it's about 6 in the morning. It should be fairly busy, and one of the things I want to look at here is one of the big issues with the previous Long Island Railroad in Train Sim World from 6 MFing years ago. Issues with the pillars and the platforms themselves, and kind of rubbing and being too close to the trains. Now, I don't remember which platforms this was an issue with. As you can tell, it's still a bit funky. That is a massive gap. It's still not kind of correctly lined up in a lot of places. You can see it's a bit closer to kind of the further we go down. We'll come over and look at this train as well. But there's really been nothing else added in a lot of what I'll call the legacy areas of Long Island Railroad from its very first, iteration in Train Sim World 1, as we'll call it. A lot of that has been totally unchanged. I think they said they updated some textures and a few things here and there. But other than that, that's still fairly close. So it looks like they did kind of fix the platforms to a degree. You can see the passenger information system in here as well has been updated. So like I said, these will look different in different areas all along the network, the Long Island Railroad. Some weirdness going on with that platform. These kind of like black smudges. That's odd. The textures and the repetitive nature in Train Sim World have just never really looked good, sadly. But yeah, it'd be hard to kind of go through and look at each and every one, though we will try. I mean, not everyone is going to have a train at it currently. In some occasions, these pillars would be like in the middle of the freaking track, and the trains would have definitely hit them. Just a lot of kind of ridiculous issues that made it truly amazing that the stuff even passes muster, and the so-called beta testers or the QA team's like, yep, it's good to go, guys. Give me some more free stuff so I can tell you it's perfect. That's fairly close as well. It kind of even looks like it's almost touching. Yeah, it's going to be hard to check each and every one, and honestly, I don't care that much. Yeah, there's really nothing going on this side of the station. Okay, so it looks like they did fix some of that. That is, if I'm looking at the right platforms. Like I said, I don't remember which ones they were. So yeah, it's Penn Station. Nothing changed here. But something that has not changed, which is very sad that it has not, is the fact that this is like the legacy kind of looking Long Island Railroad network. So we don't get the very modern and up-to-date and very expensive, beautiful Grand Central Terminal. We do not get that, sadly. That would have been very cool to see. That was recently built and completed for the Long Island Railroad not too long ago. I want to say a year? Has it been more than a year? So that kind of sucks. So nothing was added on that front. It's, the looks of everything are old, but the timetable is supposedly modern. Alrighty then, folks, welcome to Long Beach, the end of the line for the Long Beach branch. Of course, right behind us is the Atlantic Ocean. Sadly, you can't see it. They put a lot of invisible walls on this route. I cannot go any farther that way. It pretty much stops me here. So you can't even really see the front of the station, and it's actually a nice station. But it does look faithful to the prototype, to the original. So this is kind of what the station looks like. The font even looks okay, even though you can't really see it because you can't get back here. The only kind of quirk I would have, or say that it has, I have many quirks, is the color of the font itself. It's just a bit bright. It's almost like a blurple or like a blueberry. It needs to be like a darker blue. But the building itself looks good. So this is it. This is the new part of the route. We'll pop the map open right here just to show you where we're at. This is it. So it goes all the way up. It hits this, and you actually share a few stations, like much of the network, with other branches or lines. And then you can either go up via St. Albans, or you go up right here where this crazy kind of incline is right up into Jamaica. And you can see it's pretty damn busy right there right now. So one thing I will note that I've noticed while kind of panning around and looking around so far recording this is the optimization is not great. I had to turn a couple of settings down. So I've got a 4070 Ti with 12 GB graphics card memory. Got a 5800X processor. Just an absolute butt ton of system memory, 64. Windows 11, of course. This is on an SSD. But I had to turn some stuff down quite a bit. So it is heavy. There's, it's a lot of trains on the map. They tried to populate it. So hopefully that's the issue. If there's a lot of trains and it's still somewhat playable and I can't play it 120 frames or whatever, fine, so be it. I'll play it 60. But anyway, let's take a look around. So far, it looks okay down here. One of the first things I want to look at is the signage for the platform. And there we are. So it is wrong. Again, they always use this really shitty font. I truly do not understand it. They literally use this on every route. It looks like some goofy font. I don't even know what the name is. It looks ridiculous though, and they put it on almost everything. I can assure you the signage is more of a kind of a straight, more angular font than whatever the hell this is. Now the sign itself looks, pretty appropriate. It's got the blue stripe across the top, but it does not have the warnings on either side. So you'll see like a no smoking sign generally, and some other warnings over there as well. So it's missing some of that. Stuff like that could have been added. Come on, guys. How long would that have taken? Anyway, the platforms themselves look okay. So much of the Long Island Railroad is a bit uninspiring. It's just this concrete platform on these pillars. It looks so bare and just very uninspiring, but it is what it is. But the roof itself does look pretty good. It's got the correct paint. It looks kind of old and distressed. I mean, the salty sea air is right there, so it plays a role in how this stuff looks. But this generally back here does look okay. I do like the station as well. You got your car park over here, your parking garage. I believe there's a bus terminal back here as well. Somewhere, maybe that, or maybe over here. But that's it. That's Long Beach. Now, one of the other things I kind of have an issue with is the ballast. So typically ballast is a big deal in train simulators because, half of your screen while you're operating a train is what? Ground, vegetation, tracks, and ballast. So the ballast needs to be good. I can 100% assure you that much of the Long Island Railroad's ballast is kind of a salt and pepper look. So it's, it almost looks like a granite with some light colored rocks, some medium colored grays, and some dark grays. While this is close, it's just still something about it that does not look quite right. And I've seen other parts of the route as well where it kind of gives this brown look, and it's not really brown. Maybe the ground texture mixing in with it just does not really look that great. But something else that I'll note about this area in particular is it's very, very clean in the game, not in real life anyway. So it's just super clean. There should be weeds like this everywhere. I mean, they do keep it clean, line side, maintenance away for the most part. But, you know, several feet off the track side is going to be this, and generally in your warmer months, taller than the average adult. So it's going to be fairly high. It just looks extremely clean. It's like all you see is this just horrible colored, you know, ground texture most of the time, and it just looks so bare. Just so unbelievably bare, sadly. So this is Long Beach, one of the barrier islands on Long Island, nicknamed the City by the Sea, frequented in its early years by many celebrities and the wealthy. That's kind of how this place got its start. Hell, that's kind of how this line got its start. So this branch was initially built in the late 1800s for a holiday retreat for the folks in the city in the warmer months, back when there was no AC and you basically sat next to a giant lump of ice to get cool. So it was a huge what's a brain fart, obviously, just a huge undertaking building this very massive resort here and cottages. And this fella kind of made a deal with, you know, some of the railroad and city officials and things like that to get the road brought here for his hotel, and the city kind of blossomed out of that. So that is Long Beach, and not the California one, BT dubs. Alright, so we are back in the channel. So Long Beach is behind us as we watch this M9 kind of creep into the station back there. This section is a painfully, excruciatingly painful 5 mile an hour crossing it through here, sadly. Now this bridge is pretty neat. It is actually a lift bridge in real life for boats to go through, but I think this is called Reynolds Channel. It may also be called Wreck Lead Channel. Actually, off to the right there's a like a car or automobile bridge over there as well, but I think it's mainly Reynolds Channel. And then the Atlantic Ocean is behind us, which you can get to the Atlantic via that way, and then of course that way as well. But this is the bridge. It's pretty neat. It will not let me I don't think it'll let me fly over it here. We'll wait till the train gets there and then just kind of fly down there with the free cam and take a peek. Let's see if it lets me go over here. Yes, so it is. Okay, yep, you can. Cool. So yeah, this is a lift bridge. It does go up and down in real life. I don't know how common or often it does. I don't think it does in game though, sadly. And then this over here, I have read that this is a mastery item, so you can actually get in the lift bridge control center, which is part of the stupid mastery thing, which means you got to play a bunch of the game to be able to unlock certain things, which honestly ought to be unlocked from the get-go, if I'm honest. So it just makes it, you know, allowable to get up in there. But anyway, so that's the lift bridge. I will say that they did update the water masking and the way the water looks. It actually looks pretty decent. And the shore. So a lot of your shore in this general vicinity is rocky. So you will see some rocks here and there. You will see the kind of bare, just horrible straight down 2D textures as well, like that, mud and things like that. But yeah, that's that. So that is Long Beach. It's a barrier island. There is a car bridge there. There's also a car bridge further down to the east, and then there's another one, I think, further that way. So I think there's 3 bridges that can get you to the mainland, and then of course the one train bridge here. You can already see a weird texture issue on top of this building here, which son of a biscuit, I'm stuck. Let me out. There we go. Yeah, so that's not normal looking. You can see a ton of reused assets as per usual with Dovetail Games. You'd have the speed boards and things like that, which look nice and seem to be in the proper location. A lot of the electrical bungalows such as this are up off the ground because, well, this is an island and Hurricane Sandy was a thing. New York got a hurricane like a couple of times and made a super huge deal about it. Of course, I'm making light of that because as a Floridian, we see hurricanes like, you know, you go through them like socks. I mean, it's just very common. But anyway, it was a thing here, so that's one of the reasons they build stuff up off the ground. I will say the ground texture through here looks pretty shit. It's got kind of like a wet mud look. I don't like it at all. It does the overall look. It does not help that. And then you can see the actual poorly placed, you know, terrain here, trackside with this jaggy looking crap. That doesn't look good either. The shadows always show it. You can't hide it from the lighting and the shadows. But other than that, it looks fairly decent through here. So this is called Island Park, and it's an island too. How about that? And it double tracks through here. Here's another bungalow I was talking about. It's kind of built up off the ground. And crossings. So you've got quite a few crossings in this area and some of the more remote parts of the Long Island Railroad network. Just saw that box van drift around the corner. What a Chad, I guess. But yeah, crossing, you get to blow the horn, wee-hee, woo-hoo. But what sucks is this. Look at this, man. If you were... Dude, they would not allow this to be built. The Department of Transportation or the railroad. This would destroy alignments and tires. Can we fix that? Can we maybe bring the road up to the railroad level or bring the tracks down? One or the other. That looks terrible. Now, from the train, a lot of your excuses are, oh, well, you're not going to see a lot of stuff in the train, from the train, blah, blah, blah. You can definitely see it. This is about where you're going to sit. It looks pretty bad. This is the Island Park Station. It's just one of those kind of unassuming small stations. There is a older building over here, which looks pretty damn good, if I'm honest. It looks like the real deal. Long Island Railroad's got a kind of particular look to a lot of their stations and the old ticket houses that still exist anyway. Just looking at some of these shops. Shop, shop, shop. AA, shop, shop, shop. Place is awesome. I love the shop, shop, shop. Some of those might be new. I'm not totally sure. Again, you got the PIS. They do look different areas. The Island Park, incorrect font. And this place is busy, man. Jesus Christ. I don't think it's really this busy IRL, but it be what it be. It's Dovetail Games. I think a lot of your performance issues are these ridiculous looking people. Let's just thin that out some, or maybe put them only, you know, where it actually gets thick. You've got your stopping board signs, so depending upon how long your train is, how many cars it is, that's where you stop. It's pretty self-explanatory. I believe they did add a manual as well, which is totally amazing because it's like Dovetail forgot to, you know, add manuals over the last few years. I think they did add it for this as well. This looks a little bit better as far as the weeds and vegetation and stuff like that. It just needs to be thicker, though. I have it set to June, guys. This needs to be a lot thicker. We need a lot more grass and weeds and just all kinds of crap. It's just way too clean line side. Let's get down to the next station. We should cross another little bridge, and then we're kind of back on the mainland. That coming into view is the E.F. Barrett Power Station. You've got one more crossing here, which is still pretty atrocious and abysmal, and that would not have passed muster in real life. So yep, it's a power station off to the right. You've got a little footbridge that goes over here to these storage or holding tanks on the left. This is all legit in IRL. You've got kind of a canal back here where they do not allow boats. Well, that's nice. They don't allow boats past there just because reasons and whatnot. You know, but the power station looks okay. It pretty much looks like that in real life. We'll continue on. I think this is a Costco, so they kind of modernized it. This is a Costco in real life, which is like a big, it's like a membership club store, big box store where you can buy like a 58 pack of t-shirts for like $10, you know, that kind of place. And they have got excellent pizzas and bratwursts and things like that. Very, very nice, lovely cafe. But it's very urban. You know, Long Island is very, very urban for the most part, especially right up along the shore. The further east you get, the more remote and kind of wild it becomes, more nature. But it's still fairly lush. It's still fairly green. I don't know the actual speed through here. I don't think it's too slow, but it's not fast either. This should be Oceanside here, I think. It says Long Beach. Oh, it's just a branch name, and it's skipping for some reason. I don't know why that was happening. Yep, so this is Oceanside here. Again, just another little unassuming, you know, two concrete, gnarly-looking platforms. The old building here, which again looks pretty legit. I'll give them that. That was one of the things I really appreciated, and if you don't know or don't have Train Sim Classic, by now I kind of would recommend the Long Island Railroad version of Train Sim Classic because it looks phenomenal scenery-wise. I love the way it looks. It's had some issues as far as optimization. They kind of low-key released a patch for it, although I don't think it was official. You should be able to find it around, but that's, you know, that is if you have Train Sim Classic or you're thinking about Long Island Railroad for Train Sim Classic. But we won't go the whole line. We'll just stop and look at each station, and then we'll get in a train and run the whole line. So let's just head down to the next station. Here we have the East Rockaway Station, where there's obviously an M9 headed down to Long Beach. I think it's the first one I've seen flying up here, but this is East Rockaway. Again, just another kind of unassuming stations. Got your little rain shelters. Got another little creek here. It is very watery. And okay. There's another train right behind it. So there's kind of an issue with this, guys. So the way that AI and the signaling is set up is they do not follow speed orders and signals. The only thing they do is full throttle to a red signal or green signal. That is it. So it's kind of the same issue if you're familiar with the Harlem line that we had. Same kind of deal. So that train is up that other train's ass. And while prototypically, yes, they do get pretty close together, I can almost guarantee you that that right there is not a thing. So that's still an issue, sadly. Now, of course, you know, if you're operating a train and you're being slow and dicking around and all that good stuff, you are going to kind of mess up the timetable in your run itself. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so we're not at a station. We're between East Rockaway and Center Avenue, which Dovetail spelled wrong, of course, I think, because, you know, C-E-N-T-R-E and C-E-N-T-E-R, the two spelling variants. I think it's E-R, but we'll see when we get there. But I just wanted to take a look at this. This is what we should be seeing, guys. This looks pretty damn epic. All the grass and the different weeds and bushes around here, that's thick. This is what we need on most of the line right here. That looks nice. It's surprising. We just need a lot more of it. And trash. Lots and lots of trash. Alright, here's Center Avenue. Maybe one of you guys can tell me, is this spelled incorrectly? Because as an American English, it should be C-E-N-T-E-R. Now I know the reason I bring this up, in case it's correct, is Dovetail have done this in the past numerous times. Dovetail gonna dovetail, one of those things, right? So I don't know if that's right or not. You know, if one of you guys knows, please let them rip in the comment. It could be right, I don't know. It even says it in the PIS. Dovetail Games, the people that made this, are a British company with British employees. That is how they spell center. So it's only normal. They get a task on their desk, you know, dropped by their boss. You need this, put this in the game, code this, whatever, and they're just going to be typing it out and type center the way they always type it. So who knows? I don't know. But anyway, another kind of unassuming station. Not a whole lot going on here. It will change though quite a bit to where we get up to the like the Far Rockaway branch, for example. All right, so this is kind of where the Long Beach branch sort of ends and is mixed with the oh, jeez. They all kind of come together. You know, Babylon branch, Far Rockaway, some of them serve the same stations. You just have to look at a map because I'm not going to explain it right. I can guarantee you that. But it is neat through here because it has that old school, you know, it is 1800s, guys. It's early 1900s. It's got that old school kind of metro or subway look to it, above ground, if you will. Or, you know, like what they call in Chicago, the L, for short for elevated, for example. Here's the other branch that continues on, kind of following the coast. As you can see there, it goes nowhere, very quick, no scenery. And it's a bit more urban through here, so you can see a bit more, you know, high-rises and things like that, apartment buildings and older buildings and things and whatnot. It looks okay through here, honestly. You know, it could be dirtied up, though. This is I'm going to say it like I'm going to try to. This is Long Island, right? It ain't the cleanest place. I mean, it's old. Things are kind of dirty. I'm just saying the textures need to be kind of grimied up a little bit on certain things. Everything just looks way too clean. Like, that looks okay. That's got kind of that textured look to the wall, for example. But just, you know, the way the road and the sidewalks look, it just needs to be grimied up quite a bit. I believe this is Lynbrook. Let us see. Indeed it is. So Lynbrook, this is a multi-serving station. Let's see. What is this one over here? It doesn't have anything. Yes, this must be part of the Babylon branch. Babylon. We'll continue down Nisa Way. And then up here is a fairly neat little area. We'll just try and jump on down to it. The next station should be Valley Stream, and there's an old interlocking tower up here. I think it's just called Valley Tower, which should be up here, as well as kind of like a base of operations for the Long Island Railroad maintenance crew. Like a lot of your rail trucks and things like that are based down here. Guys, you know, working on, you know, signaling and things like that. I think they have a little base of operations down here. They damn sure do. So they put it in the game. Very cool. So yeah, this is kind of like an LIRR base of operations for some maintenance away guys. Geez, I forgot the name of the branch that goes that way. It's I think it's even shorter than the Long Beach branch. But here's the tower. So they did add that. Very cool. Let's see if it's got a sign on it. Should say Valley over here. Okay, it do not. Again, if you guys know, any of you MTA heads out there, you guys that know this area very well, I'm pretty sure there's a damn sign that says Valley right here, right? On this side, probably even this side as well. Maybe not. I do like the trash and the griminess, but still we need more weeds, man. We need more grass and weeds. Let's take all the grass and the weeds from the Niedertalbahn and add them to this. Because like this looks terrible. The mixing of the ground textures and the ballast, everything always has this kind of weird wet, like, I can't describe the texture. It doesn't look right. The way the light reflects off it or something, it just looks ass. Like the asphalt. That kind of looks okay, because if it's new asphalt, it'll kind of give that shine off of it like that. But anyway, got the tower. This is Valley Stream, and they did add the Firefighters Memorial over here, so that's what this is. You can go over to it. It's just a nice memorial for firefighters. See what they put Dovetail Mills on there. Okay. Interesting. Not cool, but interesting. Get up here. We got any new advertisements? Or billboards, as we call them here. Taylor Setter, I guess supposed to be like Taylor Swift or something. I don't know, for the Swifties. Exhibit. Wasn't he a rapper? Whatever happened to that dude? Anyway, this station looks... I'm getting sidetracked like hell. This station looks pretty legit. You know, not too bad. Not too bad. Does look okay. Do be looking okay. It's got that old brick look to it. There should be... Holy hell, man. Also, that's skipping. Should be a massive park off. Yeah, this huge park here to the right. This is called Village Green Park. You know, just a huge green space. Get out, stretch your legs, walk your dog. Rob unassuming people walking through the park at knife point. It's New York, you know. Please don't go do that, kids, if you're watching this. It's skipping again. Holy hell, man. I turn around, I feel like the freaking computer's going to catch fire. Anyway, they have like a band shell in there and musical things and stuff like that. So yeah. First kind of true big signal bridge. Let's look at that again. Oh, guys, come on, man. It looks like shit. Look at that. The ground to the bridge. Let's even that stuff out, man. So I was just thinking, I'm flying along the tracks here, right? We just left Valley Stream. The next station should be Rosedale. But JFK International, one of the busiest airports in the world, and in North America at least, is in this direction. You should see planes left, right, front, and center, and maybe even backwards and upside down. And I see none. So they need to add aircraft to this, kind of like the Gatwick aircraft, or what was the one, the airport on Southeastern High Speed map? I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, we need airplanes and airplane sound, so that kind of sucks. Here's the next station, Rosedale. As you can see, the two tracks over here, which kind of continue on through without even stopping again. The stations look pretty legit, man. They, you know, they don't have all the little bits and bobs like stickers and decals and things like that. Sadly, the platforms are still a bit too clean. You know, you can see some trash here and there, and just some kind of dark spots in the concrete, you know, cracks in the concrete and things like that. But other than that, the Rosedale does look okay. So it gets somewhat interesting up here because it's actually going to split. And it should be right up here. We're basically headed west, by the way. Here it is. So Far Rockaway branch. Look at it. We got another train running up another train's ass. There we go. The Far Rockaway branch is on the left where this train is currently going. This one over here is the Babylon branch. There is a station up there, and then there is one on that side as well. So the station over here is going to be St. Alban. The one over here is going to be Locust Manor. And this station here should be Laurelton. Indeed it do be. Again, it looks good. It's got the nice kind of old school looking, you know, custom lighting, lampposts, whatnot. You know, it's elevated still. The station looks good. I mean, it's how these stations look. I guess we'll go down this one first, the Far Rockaway. It looks fairly legit. You know, it's very urban. Could still use a lot more vegetation and kind of varieties of vegetation, if you will. Just make it look a bit different. This is Locust Manor here. Again, just another one of those, you know, platforms. There ain't nothing to it. You know, it's a commuter railroad. Not every station is going to be some grandiose, you know, work of art station-wise. And then it's pretty much nothing all the way until you get up to Jamaica, straight up there. So let's go ahead and hop over on the other bit. Okie doke, guys, we are now on the Babylon branch, or the portion of it through here. And to be fair, I have seen several trains go by. Now, of course, a lot of those are right up the ass of the other ones. Whether the other one have given consent of such actions or not. But straight up here should be St. Albans. And it's kind of an interesting place as well. It kind of began as a very nice, well-to-do place for the wealthy, rich, and famous. It was a massive golf course. And it should be just over here on the left, because it is an absolutely massive green space in real life. Big park area. And I guess that's kind of it. That's what these buildings here are supposed to be. But it almost looks too built up. But anyway, so it used to be a big, well-to-do, hoity-toity, you know, type golf course, place for the rich and famous and all that. Now it is basically a hospital and veterans admin facility, or the VA. So I think that was established in about the 1940s when it was taken over from, you know, the golf course or whatever the hell it was. But this is St. Albans, the station again, just a little singular platform. I don't think anything's running on these PISs here. I don't know if anything's come through or coming through. But anyway, right up here is a neat little area, because there's actually some areas like this with, you know, I don't know if any of these areas are served by rail freight or the NYA, or that's New York and Atlantic's little freight carrier through here. But up here is the Hillside Long Island Railroad facility, which is just the absolutely massive kind of main Long Island Railroad shops, if you will. And back in here, this would have been a very good opportunity to bring in the MP15 switcher, because the Long Island Railroad does have quite a few MP15s, and generally you'd see them sitting here along with some gondolas with new ties, ballast, track, any kind of work that needs to be done is pretty much going to be hanging out over there, possibly over here. There may be a few customers that are served via freight, so that's an opportunity for stuff to go there. I mean, they could have like repainted the God, what's the Caltrain MP15, you know, maybe something, anything, you know, and just added some stuff to that. But this is Hillside here, the big Long Island Railroad facility. And then down here is Jamaica. Jamaican me crazy. We'll just go ahead and scooch on down here right quick like. Very, very busy station. Kind of the heart of the Long Island Railroad, if you will. And I'm trying to find where the Far Rockaway kind of sneaks out through here. Very thick with the trackness. Lots of tracks, lots of signals. There it is right here. I believe it's this. Yeah, this is the Far Rockaway lead. Far Rockaway branch, there it is. And it's very steep, so it's interesting. Like, if you got to stop there, you may get caught out having to juice it or goose it a little bit more just to get up that hill. But that's basically it. That's all the new trackage, guys. I'm not going to look all over the map. You know, they've said that they've updated a few things. I think they updated some of these buildings through here, like that. I don't recall that, but the LOD, or the level of detail on it, is absolute shit. When you kind of get away from it, you see how it does that. Yeah, that's just a Train Sim World thing, sadly. Some random ass like bagel, Billy Bongo's bagels. Yeah, I don't know why that'd be there, but and then that way is New York Penn, and then that way is Atlantic. But from here, I reckon we will hop in the M9 and check out something pretty cool that should have been in the initial Long Island Railroad but wasn't, but they did add it to this, so I have read. So we'll hop in the M9, have a go with it, and check out another neat little place. A very inopportune place for our train to break down. We are in the tunnel just outside of Atlantic Terminal, a few miles, which is down here. But we are currently sat at the old Woodhaven Station. And look at the absolute creepiness of this place. It is pretty astounding. I love it. Now, what I don't love is the fact that this was not within the original game or any of its subsequent updates, sadly. It is in here now. Now, this is a disused station. Trains fly by here all day, every day. It closed down, I want to say, in the late 30s or early 40s. It was kind of moved a couple of times, the station. It was, you know, it went through a couple of different names. But anyway, it's here now, and there's nothing here. Now, you will not stop here, but, you know, I just gotta say, this looks incredible. This is how everything on this map should look. This level of crustiness, maybe dial the crust down like 15%, but this is about where stuff should look. I mean, look at the floor, the concrete. This is old as hell. There's just trash. There's probably a body laying in here somewhere. This is what everything should look like in this game. Why was this one little area handpicked to look like this? I mean, we got, you know, barrels, trash, some old pieces of metal, some metal sheets. Oh, it goes under as well. The pillars, just look at all the trash. This old electrical box here with very lovely urban inscription all over it. These people are like, what in the hell is going on here? But look at this, man. This is what everything should look like in this game. Let's go over here. I didn't realize there was a tunnel to the other platform. Of course, there's two. This is kind of spooky. It kind of reminds me of this walking simulator called Welcome to Kowloon. It's really giving me that vibe. But I mean, guys, if this can look like this, everything needs to look like this. Why just this little area, which 90% of people will never see or don't even realize is here? Now, people do realize that this was totally missed, you know, in the original Long Island release. And so they put it in now. So this is the other side, obviously, going back that way towards Atlantic Terminal. I just heard something. There's all kinds of weird sounds in here too, man. It's got an ambience, that is for damn sure, but I thought I heard like a squealing or a squeaking. I'll tell you what, man, there's a total vibe down here. Even the color of the lighting, the way the old tile looks, and that was it, man. Late 1800s, early 1900s, these old subway and underground stations, you know, with the tile on the wall. Just, this is it, man. This looks awesome. See if I can investigate. See if they've got some little Easter egg or something in here. It's just some random cone. Yeah, sure it again. It sounds like a rat. Is Pizza Rat in here? You hear that? The hell? Watch it be like some monster rat, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle rat. Can't remember his name, but he was Chungus. He was a big rat. But yeah, Woodhaven, disused. Definitely won't be stopping here. The only way to get here is to hop in a train and just come through the tunnel and don't fly by it, because I mean, at speed you won't even notice it's there, honestly. But it's just a cool little addition. Man, I wish everything looked like this in Train Sim World. You know, if they can make this look like this, they're holding out on us. And you know why? Because a lot of the shit that we see in Train Sim World, as far as the map, is procedurally generated. It's, you know, they kind of use this program that, you know, AI generates stuff. And this, a lot of this was hand done. This was manicured. You can tell. I want to see everything like this. There's no excuse now. Alright then, guys, here we go. We are in the M9. The bread and butter, essentially, of the update. Now, while it does look nice, it does fit the bill. This is how they look. It's got the new updated paint job. You know, it's an M9. Now, the M9 is the Long Island Railroad's youngest fleet of EMUs, built at Kawasaki for use on the Metro North as well, i.e. the Harlem Line, for example. Now, delivery of these began in 2019, basically sought to replace the aging M3 unit. Now, they are built and used as coupled pairs. The numbers range from 9,001 to 9,202. They have a max speed of 80 miles an hour in service and 100 capable. The traction system consists of Mitsubishi Electric Hybrid SIC IGBT triple VF with 8 traction motors per pair. So that's at about 275 horsepower each. They have Mitsubishi asynchronous 3-phase AC, and that is of course via third rail, 750 volt. Now they feature ATC and pulse code safety and track systems, and the main differences between these and the M7 are the horn, the end caps, or the front or rear of the train, whatever you want to call it, the face, paint jobs, the interior slightly different, different tractive system, and they've got about 10 more horsepower per motor versus the M7. And I think this thing uses the Nathan K2H. So let's go ahead and give the horn a chance. That sounds pretty damn good, my guys. That sounds all right. Let's see what it sounds like inside. Okay. All right. Well, they cooked with these sounds. I mean, sure, they were probably recorded with an iPhone in someone's personal collection and then mashed together, but they sound pretty decent. And you see that? I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's got that slight kind of reverb inside, where it's a lower sound, not like a higher pitch sound. It's geez, I can't describe it well, but the M9. So this is the new thing in the thing, the new Long Island Railroad. So starters, no. There's no panel back here. They completely removed it as per the licensing agreement to be able to make this. You know, the Metropolitan Transit Authority said you got to do this, you got to meet these standards, and then yes, you can use our brand, blah blah. And this is the results of that. The door controls, and you can no longer charge the brakes. So I'm pretty sure the brake charge button, does it sit there next to the buzzer? No, I think it sits, that's it right there. It's the green one, and there's nothing there. So you click on it and there's nothing there. Everything else you hover over, it brings up stuff. So it's all automated. Now what that means is you can no longer turn off ATC or ACSES or access, whatever you want to call it. It's on all the time now. So I guess they don't want some little dingleberry trying to take a train and doing some really dumb shit with it, I guess, because kids are stupid. I was a kid once. I'm older now, but I'm still stupid. But I wouldn't have done anything like that. Anyway, that is a bit ridiculous, and that really, really sucks. Let's get up and take a look through the thing. Cover both windows. There's a lean out thing. So if you're doing any kind of moves, which we got to do here, because we're honestly faced. How do you close the damn thing back? I don't want to lean out anymore. I want to close it. I guess I can't close it back. Okay, that's not cool. But anyway, yeah, we got to run that way, and then we're running back east, actually. So we're facing west, but we got to run back east. This is going to Long Island City Station Yard. I don't know if it's a revenue train or not. There's obviously no one on board, but you know, by and large, it looks a lot like the M7. I'm sure they took a lot of M7 bits and you know, and used them in this. The interior, the lighting is meh. Everything's kind of got just that fuzzy, you know, shadeless, shadowless look to it, and that's all about performance. And they got to do that for the people that use the extremely old consoles, which should be taken out back and put out of their miseries. But for whatever reason, we're still being held back so people can run this kind of stuff on Ataris, and it's getting a bit old. There's no shitter, sadly. I already checked. I mean, there is a shitter, you just can't go in and look at the shitter. But it is what it is, so let's hop in. So basically all you do now, there's no charge brake or anything like that. You gotta throw the key on, Control W. It'll scream at you for a moment. We're gonna pull that back to forward, and then you basically just put the brake to max brake, and it will charge the brakes. Whereas before, it would not do that. You would actually have to hold the green button down until you got the desired brake cylinder or brake pipe numbers. So it's pretty much there. ATC and ACS is always on. There's no breakers back here to mess with, to do anything. It's very milk toast. There's nothing you can do. Now let's see what else is going on here. Now we don't have anything on our display. There's your door buzzer and controls. Let's see, I know on the Harlem line they had radio set to where you could, I think, change the destination and all that. It's like the blind works, complete with squeak. You can lower it down. That's kind of neat. Pretty hard as hell to see, but that's kind of cool. I don't remember that in the M7. So that's pretty neat. Let's see, lamp test, car wash button, desk brightness, cab heater, fresh air intake, gauge lights, we'll put them all the way up. Marker lights on, let's turn those off. That's the red lights, by the way. Your wipers and headlights. I will say as well, now it's hard to tell out here, guys, but when I was in the tunnel earlier when we were checking out that spooky station, the lights don't look ridiculous. They actually have a bit of an orange glow to them. Now, like I said, it's hard to tell out here in the bright full sunlight, but they've got an orange glow. They look like a natural color being emitted from a light. So it's not that crazy, just absolutely colorless, all white color, which looks ridiculous. Let's see if we can mess with anything on here. I don't know. It may be something in the manual. I mean, there's nothing you can actually touch there. So, on that note, let's peep the manual. Okay, so I looked at the manual, and again, thankfully there is a manual. It's a tap screen, so you actually tap the train number key. So we are 9150, and I guess X possibly means that we don't have, it's not revenue. Train numbers, all train numbers entered are recorded. Oh, in case you enter the wrong one, they'll know about it. Ah! Jesus Christ. Alright, we'll do X. I mean, it's already on here, so we'll put it in anyway. 915. Oh. Okay. Alright, so now it's green. Still nothing in the displays. I don't know that anything will actually go in there. Okay, it says loading route, loading route. So it's loading all that up. That does take time as per real lifeness. Let's see what else we can click on. There's no speakers. Now it says you can turn the speakers on and off. Sadly, it doesn't actually do anything. There are no announcements as far as I know. Event code, train number invalid, invalid train number. Bitch, it is valid. I just put it in. I put in exactly what it says. Piece of crap. I got your interior lighting. All lights on, all lights off. It shows you all that. That's pretty cool. I do like the, you know, being able to kind of mess around with this stuff as need be. Apply, set return. HVAC setup, automatically ever. So it's things like your heating, air conditioning, things like that. ATC and ACSES. Maintenance screen, trouble screen, active trouble, operating screen. So there's actually quite a bit you can do. Here's your voltage, so it shows the voltage per motor, per car, or whatnot. Turn to that. There was an ice mode as well, which is pretty cool. Where'd that go? Where did that go? Yeah, I don't know what I just did with that test. We're just kind of pressing numbers here, guys. That's the beauty of it. That's how I learn stuff anyway. You can, of course, read the manual. You just don't get why we ain't got no operating number. But we need to go. So we've got authority to move here as per the signal in front of us. Uh-oh, nope. Trouble screen says, no, hell, you don't. SES input wrong. Okay. Incorrect input, cut an SES, insert master key, set reverse forward, master control, mid brake, max brake. Yeah, I already did that, but cool story, bro. Alright, let's do it again. We can't cut it in, obviously, because the crap on the back wall is broken. So we'll set it to max brake. Key out. Needs to be an emergency. Here we go, forward. Max brake. Now it's doing the brake pressure. Let's see if it still tries to screw us over. If it does, I'll just do a different scenario. I think I hit something screwing around here. Yeah, I poo-pooed it. So, it's kind of good because it shows that you can mess around with this stuff. We'll just hop in another train real quick. Alright then, guys, we are back in the train. This one's going from Far Rockaway to Atlantic, I think. I'm just looking at our train. Kind of cockeyed there. There it is. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and get it set up. I think for the most part, it should be fairly easy. You put in your key, bring the reverser to forward, Set it to max brake. It will charge the brake. In the meantime, let's get our lights set up. We will turn the markers off. Gauge lights maxed out. Let's see. We need to open the door. So you can, of course, just hit the Y key for left or the U key, for right. So the doors are now open. Sadly, we don't have anything on our passenger information screen. Now, I figured that would have been automatique. So it says this train's departing 9:15, which is us, destination Atlantic Terminal. Why is nothing there? I figured it would have been automatic. So let us have a quick peek at that. Now, it's got our train number in there, X9053. Okay, ASIPA set up. Train number. What is our train number? It's T 2827. So I'm an idiot. I was looking at the like the coach or the multiple unit number. It is not that. It is your train number. So this is 2827. Let's go ahead and pop that in. 2827. Hit OK. It should verify and start running everything as far as the destination, your present location, next location, and all that. As you can see, I can't zoom in anymore because of the bullshit, you know, that Dovetail Games put in as far as being able to lock your zoom. There's a very nice mod you can use on PC where you can zoom all the way out or zoom all the way in and look at the expression on an ant's face on the ground if you want. For whatever reason, Dovetail keeps it locked at this really crappy angle. And there it is. So we put our train number in. Now again, you can see that by hitting the T key, or just before you even start the process. Now it shows destination and all that good stuff. Let's go back out and look. There it is. It's in there. So it looks good. Let's go ahead and close them doors up. And we'll see if these signals jive. Now, the biggest thing with this stuff is you are largely going to want to pay attention to the track speed where those two red dashes are. You are going to need to know route knowledge, though. There are certain markers along the route that change speeds, you know, for your upcoming stop or a signal or speed or crossover or switch or something like that. A lot of the stuff is not marked. I think there are some speed boards marked and whatnot, but as you can see, ATC and ACSES are both on by default. Now, the overall track speed currently is 80, but don't always pay attention to that Christmas tree going from 15 to 80. You're going to want to pay attention. That is the alerter, by the way. You just clear that with the Q key. You're going to want to pay attention to the numbers in red. So let's go ahead and throw this puppy on max power. Now, the problem with this is it doesn't have like a brake curve or anything like that. So unless you know where these changes are in your route, you're not going to know when to slow down. So the train will just literally start freaking out, screaming at you. I think you've got a matter of a few seconds to acknowledge it and get to that speed, or it will stop for you, and you basically have to, what's that? That's a 60. So we will pop that right there, minimum power. I'm pretty sure that was our speed board. Currently at 58. There it goes. So the beeping lets you know that the speed change was basically initialized. Now it says in red. So the overall track speed is still 80, but again, don't pay attention to what's in that green. Pay attention to what is in the red. We will try and go over like an emergency brake test. It just went back up to 80. But let's just open the throttle up and listen to this thing for a moment. It does sound pretty good, guys. I mean, they just sound like little Jetsons, you know, space cars, basically, and that's kind of what they sound like. Just realized that station was there. Luckily, we're not stopping. We will overspeed here, though, and try and go through an emergency reset. So it's telling us we're overspeeding at 60. There's our brake penalty. It should stop us. I've still got the throttle wide open, as you can see from the AI, or the UI to the right. It will continue to beep at you. You can clear it to stop the beeping. It will beep again. And it's going to bring us to a stop. Alright, so to get out of that and charge the brakes, which is totally different than how it's done in real life and in previous Long Island Railroads on Train Sim World, let's put the master controller to max brake. And I think it already reset, actually. Wow, that's lame. Okay, no big deal. So yeah. Prototypical, it is not. Alright, so we have our speed boards here, 60. The next stop is Jamaica. Can't get some accelerating sounds though. It honestly sounds fairly decent, guys. The sounds are not half bad. Here's our 60. You can go over a little bit, but then it'll start smacking you across the face if you keep going faster than it wants you to go. It's got a lot of flange squeal, which is nice. It's almost too loud, it would seem, up here in the cab, or in the head of the train, or the rear, or the middle, wherever the hell you may be standing at the time. You know, stuff like that, unless you've got the windows wide open and you're kind of outside, in which by then air rushing sound would kind of take precedent. You know, the sounds like that, the flange squeal, are more of a, like a deeper kind of crunchy, low sound. Not so much a high sound. You know, like a high trebly sound. They're more, it'd be more of like a deadened sound, like you're listening to it, you know, putting a cotton ball in your ear and hearing it, you know, through that, if you kind of catch my drift. But let's just try and get up here to Jamaica. It's 2.5 miles away. We've currently got an 80. Let's just see what happens, because Jamaica is going to get very, very busy. I have noticed already, kind of messing around with this, that before, with Long Island Railroad and Train Sim World, every time you had a scheduled stop, the light at the end of your platform would be red, no matter what. And it was stupid. That's not how the railroad operates. It could be red, but most of the time it's going to be like a, you know, a medium aspect or a clear aspect or what have you. Alright, it's bitching. Let's slow down. Sorry. Alright, so we slowed down. So now the actual track speed has gone down under the cleared speed. So we'll just coast. But anyway, point being, so every signal at a station used to be red. Now they are not. So it would seem that the signaling, you know, in the train operation within has been bumped up quite a bit. Now that is for the player train. It's quite clear that, you know, the AI trains are jacked up and they just kind of go ham until they get to a red signal. But as you can see, it's starting to slow us down. We've got a couple thousand feet, a little over, well, it's about a mile, roughly a mile. We're going to be hitting the junction up here. Now it's gone down to 40. So, you know, after a while, like a lot of guys that drive these trains for a living, they know where these points are. They know where they need to brake and things like that. So, you know, it may not be readily available trackside and things like that. You just have to learn it. You just have to remember it. And then, you know, you should know for the most part. But honestly, as long as you put down enough air and you brake and acknowledge it soon enough, you're fine. The train will keep going. It's our 30 boards. I'm still not crazy about how autumn looks in this game. I set it to this on purpose. I think I set it to September. You know, it still looks a bit ridiculous. This area does get some leaf color in this part of the year, but it just looks so unnatural like this. You know, it's almost too much. It needs to be a bit more faded, a bit more muted. So there is a whistle board when you come through this little area here. I can't even see my speed because of the shitty field of view, so I actually have to look down to see that, which sucks. So we have a 15, and it should pull us into the station here. But the fun stuff about these track and train and safety systems is you can run it somewhat prototypically, how it's meant to be run. Make it a challenge. You can get rid of the HUD. Don't look at your speeds. Don't look at the little marker of where the next stop is, all that crap. You know, try and do it naturally. It presents a challenge. You actually have to stay busy and vigilant, because that's one of the issues with Train Sim World, I feel like, is it's just boring as hell. Once you run a train once or twice, then what? You know? Like, that's it. With this, you know, it can get wild. Now, I don't know if you're seeing those black flashes. I noticed that around Jamaica earlier. There are some sort of lighting issues. I'm not sure what's going on there. So I saw those flashes. It seems to happen around Jamaica. I think it's got something to do with the baked lighting, as they call it, from dark sections to light sections. But I also noticed it in train cars. So I saw a train pulling into the station earlier, and one of the cars looked like it had died in a fire, in a grease fire, in a lithium battery grease fire. It was charred black. And it looked crazy as hell. And then all of a sudden, the color was fine again. So there's some little weird lighting issues going on with this, obviously. Alright, so we do have an ultimate red here, but this is Jamaica, and it is a massive junction. So that's natural. Open the doors. We'll hop out ourselves. Absolutely nobody on the train. See if we can catch that lighting issue. When I saw it, it happened over here earlier, and it was with an M3. But, yeah, the M9's okay. It sounds good. It feels good to operate. That's annoying as hell. So to get rid of that, if you put it in max brake, it should stop. Go back outside. There's the old M7 there. Sounds largely the same. But yeah, the M9 is nice. It's a good looking train. It feels fairly nice. It sounds pretty nice. I'm kind of peeved about the operation and how they dumbed it down. That sucks. I feel like that should have been an add-on on its own. And this whole thing, as nice as this new signaling is, and this new timetable with a lot of trains, because you can tell it's pretty big. There it goes. Look at the cars. That's that lighting issue. What in the hell? It's like it hits a certain spot. Go ahead and take a picture of that. There we go. But yeah, I feel like the update overall should have been free. You know, it's just Dovetail doing what they do. Minimal work, maximum profit. That ought to be their freaking motto. But I think that's going to do it, guys. As far as the rest of the route, like I said, I'm not going to look at it. I can link in the top right-hand corner. It should pop up my my older Long Island Railroad and M3 first looks if you'd like to take a look at that. But I feel like I've looked at this route so many times, I just can't bring myself to look at the whole thing all over again. And Dovetail themselves have noted that really nothing has changed except for a couple of textures. So I think that is going to do it, guys. I hope you found the video somewhat informative. If I missed anything, please let me know. If you have any questions, let them rip in the comments. But for now, that is it. It's also my dogs giving me my cue to go let them out back so they can run around. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye!